You're over 60, waking up feeling weaker, less alive, and noticing a lack of blood flow down there. Don't blame your age. The truth is far more surprising. Most men your age are silently starving their circulation every single night without realizing it. And all it takes to reverse it is just 1 spoon of the right food before bed. I'm Dr. Smith, a men's health specialist with over 30 years of experience. I've spent my life helping older men reignite their strength, their energy, and their connection physically and emotionally. And what I'm about to share with you is one of the most overlooked tools in male health. See, we've been trained to focus on the morning, on workouts, vitamins, energy boosters. But what if I told you the real magic happens while you sleep? That your body is actively trying to rebuild arteries, restore testosterone, and send blood where it needs to go, if you give it the right fuel. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. 7 simple, delicious bedtime foods, each with the power to improve blood flow, rebuild muscle, and restore vitality, even if you're in your 70s or 80s. And don't go anywhere, because coming up, I'll reveal the one food I call nature's Viagra in a spoon, and how using it just once before sleep could change the way you wake up tomorrow and every day after. Before we dive into these powerful bedtime foods that can restore your blood flow and confidence overnight, make sure you hit the subscribe button and turn on the bell so you never miss another tip designed to help men over 60 feel strong, vibrant, and in control again. And if you're ready to take back your health, type 1 in the comments. If you'd like something different next time, type 0 and tell me how I can better serve you. Alright, now let's get into it, starting with the very first thing you need to understand if you want to boost blood flow where it matters most. The nighttime secret: why your circulation fades after 60 and how sleep can fix it. Why does circulation down there fade so quickly after 60? And why is nighttime your greatest opportunity to fix it? This is where most men go wrong and where your comeback begins. Let me explain. Let me tell you something most men never hear from their doctors. The blood flow to your groin isn't just about arousal. It's about your health, your identity, and your quality of life. And unfortunately, after 60, that circulation begins to fade faster than most realize. But here's the part no one talks about. Nighttime doesn't make it worse. In fact, it can be your greatest opportunity for healing. When I was in my early years of practice, I had a patient named Joe, 71 years old, retired firefighter, proud father of 3. He sat in my office with tears in his eyes, quietly telling me that he hadn't felt like a man in over a year. He wasn't just talking about performance. He was talking about feeling disconnected from himself. I asked him about his sleep, his diet, and specifically what he was doing in the hours before bed. Like most men, he said, "Nothing really. Just try to relax, maybe watch TV." That's when I realized how often men ignore one of the most powerful healing windows of the day: right before sleep. You see, as we age, our nitric oxide levels drop. This is the molecule that helps blood vessels relax and open, allowing blood to flow freely throughout the body, especially to the penis. Combine that with declining testosterone and stiffer arteries, and it's no wonder men begin to lose sensitivity, strength, and stamina. But here's the kicker. Your body actually wants to repair that damage while you sleep. It's built into your biology. During deep sleep, your body releases growth hormone, rebuilds tissue, and rebalances your nervous system. The problem is, without the right building blocks, without the right fuel, your body simply can't do its job. This is where most men unknowingly set themselves up for failure. They skip protein at night, They don't get enough magnesium. They go to bed slightly dehydrated, inflamed, or with unstable blood sugar levels. And all of that silently chokes off circulation where it matters most. But Joe made one small change. He started giving his body the right food before bed, just 1 spoon. Within weeks, he was sleeping deeper, waking up with more energy. And yes, feeling more alive and confident down there. I still remember him coming back for his follow-up appointment, standing a little taller, voice steadier, smile back in his eyes. That's the power of nighttime nourishment. So, what did Joe eat before bed? And more importantly, what should you eat tonight? Let's begin with one of the most powerful, yet underestimated foods in your kitchen. You've probably had it your whole life, but never realized what it could do for your manhood after 60. Bedtime Fuel: 7 foods to reignite your manhood overnight. 1. The morning after boost. Soft-boiled or poached eggs. Let me ask you something simple. When was the last time you thought of an egg as something that could restore your manhood? Most of us grew up thinking eggs were just breakfast food, scrambled in the morning, maybe fried on the weekends. But as a doctor who's worked with aging men for over 3 decades, I can tell you this: a soft-boiled egg at night may do more for your performance than a whole shelf of supplements. I remember a patient named Walter. He was 68, a retired math teacher, soft-spoken and skeptical. He told me, "Doc, if something as simple as eating an egg could change how I feel as a man, someone would have told me by now." I smiled and said, "Well, that's exactly what I'm doing." You see, the power of an egg isn't just in the protein. It's in a compound called leucine, an amino acid that stimulates muscle growth, hormone balance, and most importantly for men like us, the release of nitric oxide. That's the molecule responsible for relaxing blood vessels and improving blood flow, especially in the areas you've likely noticed weakening. But that's not all. Eggs also contain vitamin D, which supports testosterone levels, and vitamin B12, which enhances nerve signaling, critical for sensitivity and arousal. A soft-boiled or poached egg, specifically, is easy on the stomach, allowing your body to digest it slowly through the night, distributing nutrients where they're needed most: your muscles, your arteries, and yes, your manhood. Walter added 2 soft-boiled eggs to his bedtime routine. No dramatic changes, no complicated diet, just consistency. Within 10 days, he told me he was waking up with firmer morning erections and fewer nighttime bathroom trips. It wasn't a miracle, it was science, and it was working with his body, not against it. There's something incredibly empowering about realizing that one humble spoonful of food can quietly begin to rebuild what time has taken away. You don't need to feel broken. You just need to feed your body differently. 2. Nature's Artery Relaxer. Almond Butter. The secret to overnight blood flow. But if you think eggs are powerful, wait until you hear about the creamy spread that relaxes your arteries, stabilizes your blood sugar, and sets your circulation up for success all night long. And it only takes 1 spoon. You may never look at almond butter the same way again. Now, if you've ever stood in your kitchen late at night, thinking about what you could eat that won't mess with your sleep or your sugar, I want you to think about this. Just 1 spoon of almond butter. That's it. No pills, no tricks. Just a spoonful of something creamy and natural that's been sitting in your pantry, waiting to do something powerful for your body. I had a gentleman named Carl come to see me, 74 years old, widowed for 3 years, and recently dating again. He was embarrassed to even bring it up, but after a few visits, he finally said, "Doc, everything else is working just fine. Except me." We talked. He wasn't on any heavy meds, his blood work was decent, but what caught my attention was his extreme drop in energy during the evenings and his lack of consistency in sleep. That's when I brought up almond butter. Almond butter is more than a snack. It's a circulation support tool. It's loaded with magnesium, which helps relax the smooth muscles in your blood vessels, lowering resistance and encouraging better flow. It's rich in healthy fats that support hormone production, and more importantly, it contains an amino acid called arginine. Your body converts arginine into nitric oxide, the very molecule responsible for helping you achieve and maintain blood flow to the penis. But here's the beauty of it. When you eat almond butter before bed, just 1 tablespoon, you're not just giving your body something tasty. You're sending a signal to your vascular system. Relax, restore, rebuild. Almond butter also keeps your blood sugar steady throughout the night, which is essential after 60. Fluctuating sugar levels can interfere with hormone regulation, disrupt sleep cycles, and even contribute to fatigue in the bedroom. Carl began having a spoon of almond butter on a piece of whole-grain toast an hour before bed. 2 weeks later, he walked into my office with a smile I hadn't seen before. "Doc," he said, "I feel like I'm 20 years younger." My girlfriend noticed too. That's the power of simple nourishment at the right time. 3. The Tart Cherry Juice, your sleep and circulation superfood. And while almond butter opens the gates, the next bedtime food works deeper. It enhances recovery, lowers inflammation, and has a secret ingredient that naturally improves your sleep and performance overnight. It's sweet, tart, and often forgotten. Let's talk about cherry juice, but not just any cherry juice. This one has real science behind it. There's something almost nostalgic about cherry juice. It reminds many of us of summer, childhood, maybe even those little glass bottles our mothers kept in the fridge. But what most men over 60 don't know is that this tart, ruby red drink could quietly become one of the most powerful tools in your nightly routine for both your sleep and your performance. I once had a patient named Leonard, 69, a retired bus driver with a strong voice and a quiet frustration he carried in his chest. He'd been struggling with broken sleep, low energy, and a growing sense that his body just wasn't cooperating anymore, especially when it came to intimacy. "I'm there mentally," he told me, "but physically, it's like my body left the room." That's when I introduced him to Tart Cherry Juice. What makes Tart Cherry Juice so unique isn't just the taste, it's the way it works with your body while you sleep. It's one of nature's richest sources of melatonin, the hormone that helps regulate deep, restorative rest. But it's also packed with anthocyanins, natural compounds that fight inflammation and boost nitric oxide production. That means while you're sleeping, Tart Cherry Juice is helping your blood vessels open, repair, and allow better flow to your muscles, your heart, and yes, your most private parts. Leonard started drinking a small glass, about 8 ounces, 30 minutes before bed. He said it became a calming ritual. Within days, he was falling asleep faster. Within weeks, he noticed fewer nighttime awakenings, more energy in the morning, and something else, too. He was waking up with stronger erections. "I didn't expect that from cherry juice," he told me, laughing, "but I'll take it." What I love most about this food is how gentle and effective it is. No side effects, no complications, just 1 small glass, and your body gets exactly what it needs to reset and rebuild. The tiny powerhouse, pumpkin seeds for prostate and performance. But here's the thing. While cherry juice soothes and restores from the inside, the next food works like a tiny nutritional powerhouse. It's crunchy, it's loaded with minerals, and it even helps shrink the prostate, which plays a bigger role in sexual performance than most men realize. It's not fancy. In fact, it might already be sitting in a bowl on your kitchen counter. Let's talk about pumpkin seeds and why they might be the most underrated secret in your nightly routine. Sometimes the biggest healing power is hidden in the smallest things. That's exactly how I feel about pumpkin seeds. They don't look like much, just tiny green seeds we often overlook or toss aside after carving a jack-o'-lantern. But for men over 60, these little seeds can make a big difference, especially when it comes to circulation, sleep, and restoring what age quietly takes from us. Oh, I remember Don, a 66-year-old retired engineer, tall guy, soft-spoken. Came in mostly because he was waking up too often at night. "Doc," he said, "it's like clockwork. 2, 3, sometimes 4 times a night. And by morning, I feel like I've barely slept." But it wasn't just about the sleep. His energy was down, his intimacy with his wife was dwindling, and he was starting to believe this was just how aging worked. I looked at his chart. His blood pressure was creeping up, and his prostate was mildly enlarged. Not uncommon, but something we could address. That's when I told him about pumpkin seeds. Pumpkin seeds are incredibly rich in magnesium, which helps relax the muscles in your blood vessels, easing blood flow throughout your entire body. They're also packed with zinc, a mineral critical for testosterone production and prostate health. And maybe most overlooked, they're a natural source of tryptophan, which helps your body produce serotonin and melatonin, essential for deep, restorative sleep. But there's more. Some studies suggest that the phytosterols in pumpkin seeds can help reduce prostate swelling, allowing for better urinary flow and indirectly improving nighttime blood circulation to the groin. Don started taking just 1 to 2 tablespoons of raw pumpkin seeds before bed, sometimes mixed with a little banana, sometimes plain. Within a couple of weeks, his nighttime bathroom trips dropped by half. Within a month, he felt more rested, more focused, and, surprisingly, more responsive in the bedroom. "I haven't felt this steady in years," he said. "It's like something inside me woke back up." That's what these small seeds can do when you give them the chance. 5. Creamy and restorative. Greek yogurt for overnight repair. And while pumpkin seeds provide the minerals your body needs, the next food on our list offers something even more powerful. A slow and steady protein release that works silently all night long to rebuild your blood vessels, muscles, and stamina. It's creamy, satisfying, and works beautifully with berries or a spoonful of honey. Let's talk about Greek yogurt and why it's far more than just a breakfast food. There's something comforting about a bowl of Greek yogurt. It's cool, smooth, and familiar. But what many men don't realize is that it's also one of the most powerful tools you can give your body before bed, especially if you're over 60 and trying to reclaim your strength, your stamina, and the feeling of being fully alive again. I remember Robert, a 70-year-old former high school football coach who still had that firm handshake and commanding voice. But he confided that inside, he felt like a shadow of the man he used to be. His muscles were softer, his sleep was shallow, and intimacy with his wife had grown distant. "I still love her deeply," he told me, "but my body just doesn't keep up." That's when I asked him what he was eating before bed. He looked at me puzzled and said, "Nothing. I figured eating late was bad." That's a common belief. But when done right, a light, strategic bedtime meal can work with your body's natural rhythm. Greek yogurt is a standout here. It contains 2 types of protein: whey, which digests quickly to jumpstart repair, and casein, which digests slowly to fuel your muscles and tissues throughout the night. This dual effect means your blood vessels and muscles get a steady stream of nutrients during your deepest sleep stages, when your body is working hardest to rebuild and restore. But that's just the beginning. Greek yogurt is also packed with calcium and B vitamins, which help regulate blood flow, nerve function, and even testosterone production. When you combine it with things like chia seeds for omega-3s, blueberries for antioxidant support, or a drizzle of raw honey to enhance nitric oxide levels, it becomes more than a snack. It becomes a gentle, nourishing therapy. Robert took it seriously. Every night, about an hour before bed, he made a small bowl: Greek yogurt, chia, cinnamon, and a few slices of banana. Within 3 weeks, he told me he was waking up more rested, with better morning energy, and a renewed sense of intimacy he hadn't felt in years. "It's not a miracle," he said, "but it sure feels like one." 6. The old school game changer: cottage cheese for silent muscle building. Now, if Greek yogurt provides a gentle flow of protein and nourishment through the night, the next food goes even deeper. It targets muscle recovery, artery strength, and testosterone, all in one creamy spoon. You've probably walked by it at the grocery store without ever knowing what it could do for your manhood. Let's talk about cottage cheese and why it deserves a spot in your nightly routine. There's something about cottage cheese that feels old-fashioned, like something our parents or grandparents kept in the fridge. But sometimes old wisdom knows exactly what the body needs. And when it comes to rebuilding your strength, especially after 60, cottage cheese is one of the most quietly powerful tools you can use before bed. I once had a patient named Frank, 72, a retired mechanic who had spent decades working with his hands. He told me he used to feel strong, grounded, like his body was part of his identity. But over the last few years, he felt like he was losing that connection. His muscles softer, his grip weaker, and his confidence slipping. He wasn't looking for shortcuts or magic pills. He just wanted to feel capable again. That's when I introduced him to cottage cheese. Cottage cheese is rich in casein, a slow-digesting protein that delivers a steady stream of amino acids to your body all night long. That slow release helps rebuild muscles and tissues while you sleep, exactly when your body is naturally working to repair itself. And here's the part most men don't realize. Stronger muscles mean better circulation, better balance, and even stronger erections. Because when your blood vessels and muscle fibers are healthy, everything below the belt benefits. But the benefits don't stop at protein. Cottage cheese also delivers leucine, a powerful amino acid that directly triggers muscle growth and recovery. It's also high in calcium, which supports vascular relaxation and helps reduce blood pressure. 2 things every man over 60 should care about. And because of its soft texture and mild flavor, it's easy to digest, even if your appetite isn't what it used to be. Frank made it part of his nightly ritual, just half a cup, sometimes mixed with cinnamon or berries. After a few weeks, he came back with a little more bounce in his step. "Doc," he said, "I didn't expect to feel this solid again. I sleep better, I wake up stronger, and honestly, my wife noticed too." That's the kind of change that happens when you give your body what it truly needs: quiet, consistent nourishment at the right time. 7. The ultimate nighttime repair: my personal muscle rebuilding shake. But if you're looking for the ultimate nighttime powerhouse, the one I personally recommend to patients recovering from muscle loss, fatigue, or weak blood flow, then what comes next is for you. It's not just food, it's a targeted shake designed to rebuild you from the inside out. Let me show you the exact formula. There are moments in my practice when I sit across from a man who's been trying everything: supplements, workouts, diets, and still feels like he's fading, not just physically, but in energy, intimacy, and drive. And when I see that mixture of frustration and quiet surrender in his eyes, I know it's time to introduce what I call the reset button, a simple nighttime shake that I've personally recommended to hundreds of my patients. This isn't some trendy powder from a health store. It's a blend of proven ingredients chosen specifically for older men who need to rebuild muscle, restore blood flow, and reclaim their energy while they sleep. What makes this shake so powerful is how it works with your biology, not against it. You see, during deep sleep, your body is already working to repair tissues, rebalance hormones, and restore blood vessel integrity. All it needs is the right raw material. The base of this shake is whey protein, fast-absorbing, rich in amino acids, and crucial for muscle repair. To that, I add collagen peptides, which support the health of connective tissue, skin, and blood vessel linings. Collagen becomes more important as we age, and most men simply don't get enough. Finally, I include leucine, an amino acid that acts like a switch, flipping on muscle-building pathways even in older adults. Together, these three ingredients create what I believe is the most complete nighttime support system a man can give his body. I remember George, 75, who came to me after losing significant muscle during a long recovery from surgery. He felt weak, disconnected from himself. We started him on this shake: 1 scoop of whey, 1 scoop of collagen, 3 grams of leucine, blended with unsweetened almond milk and a pinch of cinnamon. Within a few weeks, his posture improved, his stamina came back, and something else returned too: his sense of pride. "I'm finally rebuilding," he said. "Not just muscle, but my confidence. It's amazing what happens when the body gets what it needs at exactly the right time." The missing piece: why your nighttime routine matters most. Now, while this shake repairs from the inside, many men still struggle to see results because of one common mistake they make without even knowing it. It's not about what they're doing, but what they're missing right before bed. And if you're not aware of this missing strategy, it could be the one thing holding you back. Let's talk about it. I've met hundreds of men who were doing all the right things: eating better, taking supplements, even exercising regularly, but still felt stuck, still tired, still disconnected from their strength, their confidence, and that sense of vitality they once had. And many of them came into my office asking the same quiet question: why isn't this working? The answer, more often than not, came down to one overlooked window of time: the hour before bed. Most men, especially after 60, don't realize that this small window holds enormous power. It's when your body naturally wants to repair, restore, and rebuild. But instead of fueling that process, most men unintentionally sabotage it. Some go to bed with nothing in their system, thinking it's better for digestion or sleep. Others grab a quick snack, usually high in sugar, salt, or carbs, that spikes their blood sugar, disrupts their hormones, and robs their body of the deep sleep it desperately needs. But the most common mistake? Not giving the body the specific nutrients it needs to support blood flow, muscle repair, and hormone regulation during sleep, when the body is most active behind the scenes. I remember one man, Thomas, 68, former construction worker, tough as nails. He told me he was frustrated because no matter how hard he tried, he just wasn't seeing the results he wanted. He'd been lifting light weights, walking daily, even cutting back on caffeine. But when I asked him about his evening routine, he shrugged and said, "I usually just skip dinner or have a sandwich before bed." That's when everything clicked. He wasn't failing. He was missing the strategy his body needed most. We introduced just one nutrient-dense bedtime food into his routine, something as simple as cottage cheese or a shake with whey and collagen. Within 2 weeks, he started sleeping deeper. A month later, He came back with color in his face and told me, "Doc, I'm finally feeling like myself again." The truth is, no matter how many changes you make during the day, your body won't rebuild if it's starving at night. But when you learn how to fuel it properly during those precious hours before sleep, the transformation begins quietly, steadily, and powerfully. Your comeback timeline. What to expect in 7, 14, and 30 nights. And that brings us to one of the questions I hear most often from my patients. If I start doing all this, how soon will I notice a change? That answer might surprise you, because your body responds faster than you think, especially when you treat it right. Let's take a look at what really happens in 7, 14, and 30 nights. One of the most common questions I hear from my patients, especially the ones who've quietly struggled for years, is this. "Doc, if I do everything you're saying, how soon will I feel a difference?" And I get it. When you've spent months or even years feeling like your body is slipping away from you, it's hard to believe something as simple as changing what you eat before bed could shift things. But I want you to know, it absolutely can. And it often happens faster than you'd expect. I remember James, 71 years old, a retired mail carrier. He wasn't looking for miracles. He just wanted to feel stronger when he woke up and more connected to his wife when they shared a moment of closeness. He had doubts, like many men do, but he committed to trying the bedtime strategy we've been talking about, choosing 1 or 2 of the foods each night, giving his body the raw materials it needed while he slept. After just 7 nights, he reported something simple but powerful. Deeper sleep, fewer wake-ups, less tossing and turning. He told me, "I feel like I'm finally resting, not just closing my eyes." And that right there is where the healing begins. By night 14, his energy during the day improved. He started waking up with natural, firm morning erections again, something he thought was long behind him. He was more alert, more focused, and said his mood had lifted for the first time in years. He described it as a quiet return of hope. Then came day 30, and that's when the bigger shifts happened. His stamina in the bedroom had increased. He wasn't running to the bathroom at night. He felt physically stronger, both in muscle tone and emotional presence. His wife even commented that he seemed lighter, more at ease, more himself. That's what happens when you support your body's natural repair process every single night. You don't have to wait months. With consistency and the right approach, change begins in just a few nights. Your body wants to heal. It just needs the right support to do so, especially after 60. Dr. Smith's final word: you're not broken, you're rebuildable. And now that you understand how fast and how deeply your body can respond, there's one final thing I want to leave you with. It's the most important message of all, because what I'm about to say isn't just about food or sleep. It's about what it means to be a man at this stage of life. Don't miss this. If there's one message I want to leave with you, it's this: you are not broken. I don't care what your age is, what your last lab results said, or how many nights you've laid awake wondering if your best days are behind you. You are not broken. You are rebuildable. And everything we've talked about, every spoon of food, every drop of Tart Cherry Juice, every protein shake before bed, it's all about giving your body what it's been quietly asking for. I've sat across from too many good men who believed the lie that aging means decline, that their intimacy, strength, or sense of self had an expiration date. But I've also witnessed firsthand what happens when a man decides to stop giving up and start giving his body what it needs to heal. I've seen men in their 70s and 80s regain their spark. I've seen marriages restored, self-respect return, and men walk back into their lives with their heads held higher. Your body hasn't stopped working. It's been waiting for you to understand how powerfully it responds to care, attention, and the right kind of fuel. And no, it's never too late. Because healing doesn't have an age limit. Rebuilding isn't reserved for the young. In fact, the older you are, the more your body appreciates the effort. Tonight, you have a choice. You can continue the same routine and hope for change, or you can take one simple action. Just one spoon of the right food, one glass of the right drink, one quiet commitment to care for yourself and begin a new chapter. You don't need to do everything at once. Just begin. Begin with one step that tells your body, I'm not done. I still want to feel, to connect, to live fully. Because you deserve that. Not someday. Tonight. So the next time you stand in your kitchen before bed, ask yourself, what does my body need to feel alive again? And then give it that one thing, that one spoon, and let your healing begin while you sleep. You're not broken. You're rebuildable. And you are more powerful than you've been led to believe. If this video spoke to you, even in a small way, don't keep it to yourself. Hit the like button so I know this kind of content matters. Share it with a friend, a brother, or someone you care about who might be quietly struggling just like you were. You never know the difference one simple video can make in someone's life. And I want to hear from you. Leave a comment below and tell me what bedtime food you're going to try tonight, or what changes you've already noticed. I read every message, and your story might just inspire another man to take his first step. If you'd like to help support the channel and keep videos like this coming, consider making a small donation. Every bit goes toward creating better content, reaching more men, and changing more lives. You're not alone on this journey, and every action you take to support yourself helps others too. Thank you for being here. Thank you for choosing to heal. And as always, stay strong, stay hopeful, and I'll see you in the next video.